Just checking in the background if the stream comes up. Board and the going live button. And I would say hello everybody and welcome back to another breakfast. I'm of course Captain Sidaris and I'm joined by 2-5, a fellow YouTuber and veteran of 7 Days to Die. Hi there, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Not bad. Rough night with the daughter, but in general not bad. And I'm excited to hear that we got already a release of version 2.0.
We have
What
indeed.
can
We
you
have
tell
indeed.
us here?
Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, why don't you follow me over here? Because I've made a little something for you. So I thought we couldn't really do like a little interview without a proper set, you know?
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my god, how much time did you spend?
I did it in creative mode, so it only took maybe half an hour.
It's so nice.
And there's
Good,
clothes and breakfast for you in the fridge there as well. I'm just going to post on my channel that we're live as well. Won't be a second.
That's amazing.
Discussing all things 2.0. There we go. Let's post that. All right, cool. So yes, you wanted to know about 2.0, didn't you?
Exactly.
Right, okay. Well, there's a few things to kind of go through. Let me just get a creative menu so I can spawn some things in. I think I've just gone in to a wall here, clipped in. Whoops. There we go. Let me just grab a couple of items to showcase.
In the
There we go.
meantime, I should also ask the important question: what do we have for breakfast?
See, I'm a porridge guy. I'm really boring. I like porridge, blueberries, that type of thing for breakfast. That's kind of my go-to. And black coffee, always black coffee.
Black coffee. Okay, I'm the noob coffee guy. I always have to use milk.
Oh, really? See, yeah, I used to have milk and sugar, but yeah, I don't know. Just something about getting older. I stopped with that for some reason.
No, that's addiction. I need it.
So here's a few items for you. So this is a couple of new things to showcase. So there's a meat stew. I think a couple of cans of food here. So this is some of the content. If you
Meow.
put that into your hotbar, yeah. So I mean, they were in the game before, but now they've got actual models that you can look at when you hold them in your hand, and when you eat them, they've got a new eating animation. So that's like a minor change, but it's a nice change.
Okay.
I didn't even realize, but I'm just looking at you. You can see it in my hand as well. Look at that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Let's eat something for breakfast. Oh, that's nice.
Lovely cat food. There we go. And yeah, so that's just something there. There's like a new icons for things like the meat stew as well, so you can see them in your hand, all that sort of stuff. Although it looks really weird looking at it now, but there's that. There's something interesting about zombies as well. If I just throw a few blocks down for you to try and showcase this. Hopefully the zombies behave. Actually, what we'll do, we'll enclose them here. All right. The spawning, the AI is off currently, so we should be okay here. If I just point this right here and put in, I don't know, zombie Arlene. There we go. So what I'm going to show you here is how zombies now have a new crouching animation through a 1 block space, hopefully.
Oh,
Hopefully she
yeah, I
plays
read
ball.
about that they are now smarter. They can go to their needs.
Yeah, so if we allow AI here, try and get her attention. Actually, no, I didn't allow AI. Here we go. There she goes.
Nope.
I'll turn her AI off. There we go.
Just had to.
So that's new. So zombies can now come through little gaps like this. So you now target lower blocks. So if you're making a base, rather than strengthening this block, which they used to hit the second one up, you're now strengthening the bottom one because that's the one they target. So that's a change that we have to get used to. Another new change is the biomes. Have you seen about the biome progression and how?
Yes, I saw. It's a lot more difficult now.
Yeah, I mean it's smoothies and biome badges, which is not the choice I would have made. Let me just set the time back here because it's supposed to be a breakfast show. Here we go. If we run back over just to, actually, shall I get a motorcycle? It'll be a bit quicker, won't it? Motorcycle. Stick that down. Get the seating mod. Expanded seating. And gas. You need gas, in case you didn't know. It helps. Hop on.
Yeah, works.
Whoop. All right, great. So burning biome's just over here. So if we step foot into this now, just come across here. Can you see at the bottom? You should have a timer pop up.
Yeah, my ass is burning.
Yeah, so that's your timer. That's your grace period until you start taking damage. But what you have to craft is these burnt smoothies. So if you take one of these, if you drink that, that gives you a grace period in the area. It basically increases your immune time. And then, once you've spent a certain amount of time in here, in fact, I can show you. If you go to challenges, you press tab, then the little trophy icon at the top for challenges.
Yep.
And you go over to biomes, the little sun in the top tab.
I see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it should tell you there. I think it might be blanked out currently because you haven't done your started quest, but you have to do various challenges here for each biome. And
What kind of
doing that, the
challenges?
trader then gives you. Yeah. So things like harvest a certain amount of mushrooms, loot so many containers, kill so many zombies. And once you've done that, the trader gives you a little biome badge that allows you to basically survive in that biome. So that's new. That's probably the biggest change. Which, to be honest, for a survival game, it's kind of split the community a bit. Some people like it, some people not so much. Some people are of the opinion that smoothies and biome and magic badges are a bit strange. But there we go.
Yeah, I think it's also strange that they do it now after so many years. If they always wanted that and they would have told the community in notes all the time, hey, we will include this in the near future, in the far future, it's more okay. But if they just announced it and there you have it,
yeah.
But that's just my impression. What do you think?
Yeah, well, they're notorious for it, to be honest. Their captain, it's something that they've done a lot of over the years. If you look at the game back in Alpha 14, even, and then to 15 to 16 to 17, they change everything so much that it can't have possibly always been one vision. It's it seems to be very much that they're constantly changing their minds about what they want to do with things in this game. And this is no exception. This is something else they've just thought of and added on. But yeah, I mean, if you go back to Alpha 16 is the one everyone cites because that had learned by doing. It had extra biomes. It had a hybrid system of skill points and learn by doing actually as well. And it had more emphasis on survival. And even Alpha 15 had a smell mechanic where you couldn't carry raw meat because zombies would be more attracted to you. And these things they take out and put in, and the skill system they completely reworked that. And it can't have possibly been one vision the whole time. It's quite strange, but also kind of good as well for us as content creators because it gives us something new all the time to work on. So I see both sides.
That's true. It is always a challenge then to keep up.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it kind of keeps. That's why I've been playing this game for so long because there's always something new to focus on. So I'd have to give them credit there. But yeah, it's a strange thing. I mean, some people have put forward some ideas about how they could have implemented the biomes and stuff. So, for example, you go there, you have to craft, for example, for the burning forest there, where we were, we couldn't breathe because of the smoke. We have to somehow obtain some sort of ventilator or something like that. And that feels more thematically pleasing and appropriate compared to smoothies and badges. And you could do something for the desert that cools you down, like a poncho or something, something warm for the winter biome. So there's ways they could have implemented it, I think.
Yeah, I will not say it felt rushed, but odd. Definitely odd.
Yeah, an unusual decision, certainly. And then the update's called Storms Brewing, of course. So the other big change is the storms in the biomes that basically mean you can't do anything for the duration of the storm. So, for example, in the burnt forest, I can't really make one happen, but you get like a burning ember storm where like these embers will go all over your screen. You can't ride your vehicle. You can't stay outside, otherwise you take like 11 damage per tick or something like that. So it's pretty brutal. Some people really like it. I really dislike that. I'll be totally honest. I just find it frustrating because it just means I'm out doing something and then I have to stop. And it's purely the content creator in me. I don't want to have to kind of just spend my precious recording time stuck indoors waiting for a storm to pass. I find that really boring and tedious. But some people like it because it's immersive and it gives them something, an extra danger to fight against and plan against and hide against. So I can see, again, both sides, but I'm not a big fan of that, but it's purely a selfish reason why I don't like it.
In general, I think it's a strange concept if you consider that the game already has a similar but less immersive or less extensive feature, the night. During the night, you also hide more or less. You don't go out in the world, or that's at least the idea behind the game. And then you introduce something which really makes you stuck in one place.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's strange. I noticed that the original DayZ community also implemented that on many different servers over the last few years. And I always think it's fun for the first few times, and then it's boring. And I'm frustrated in DayZ if I get killed if I crash my car or my helicopter because of the storm. It's, yeah, like I said, interesting a few times and then it's boring.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you there as well. I think there's only so many times you can hide from a storm before it starts getting a bit old. But there we go. You know, I mean, I think some people do like it, and again, I can see both sides. I really can.
And can you turn it off? That's the more important
Yes.
question here. That's good.
That's where I give them credit, because they have given us the option to turn it on and off, which I've done. I went through 2 storms in my save, and I went, nope, not for me, and turned it off. But you know, the fact of giving us that is a huge thing, and the biome progression as well. That thing we did over there with the smoothies and the taking damage, that can also be turned off. And I think the reason they let us turn it off is because they released it as 1.0 under a certain vision, and I think really they can't totally change things without giving us the option to keep it as it was in 1.0. That's maybe why the way I'm seeing it.
In general, a big kudos to them for making the game so customizable. It's so rare.
Absolutely. 100%. I have to give them credit there. And then the other new thing really is there's some new enemies. Would you like to see them?
Oh yes, I heard about
Let's
that.
hope they don't damage our lovely new set here. So we got Plague Spitter. Here we go. AI's off, so we're safe for a minute. So this fella here, he spawns in the desert. He has a ranged attack, which he spits bugs at you. In fact, should we have a look at the bugs? Let's take a bit of a step back.
Yeah, give them to me.
So we go, boom. Actually, maybe step back a bit, so he does his ranged attack. No, he's not going. Let's try kiting him. Here goes.
Yeah,
well done.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so that's him.
His girlfriend
so yeah, that's
is
what he
also
does.
coming.
I will turn AI back off. There we are. So he only spawns in the desert. I think he appears in Horde Nights and stuff later on in the game as well, but early game you'll only find him in the desert biome, and there's lots of him, and one of the challenges there is to kill X amount of that type of zombie. So there's that. And we also have then in the snow biome this fella. This is the Frostclaw.
I guess he takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll have to be on our best kind of movements here, but if we take a long step back again, I'll show you his ranged attack, but get ready to dodge. It's a boulder being chucked at you.
Ah.
So let's try and kite. So here we go. Get ready to dodge. Ooh. So that's what he does. Turn him back off. And yeah, one of those boulders does significant damage, and also a lot of base damage as well. And I think splash damage. So if it lands near you, I think you still take some damage as well. So that's him. I mean, I'm not sure if it really fits a zombie survival game, because it's a bit. That's a Yeti, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. Also, that was also my first reaction when I saw the picture. In a zombie survival game, how did this happen?
Yeah, because like everything else you can kind of
weird
understand.
Fetish do you have to need to get into that?
Yeah, I mean, unless they've got an idea in the story to say there's some sort of lab experiment or something, you know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've seen the Demolisher zombies, haven't you? Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. let's get rid of him. So the Demolisher zombies. So the rumor is about these guys. Is it's supposed to be like, I think the Duke is supposed to be like, I don't know, the big bad guy or something, and he's strapped up some zombies with explosives so they can you know, cause damage out in the world, and so that's why these guys exist, and that kind of makes sense. You know, you can understand that. It takes some suspension of disbelief, but you can understand how and why. But this one, yeah, the Yeti, I'm not so sure. Then the thing about this guy is, do you know what happens if you hit this button on him?
I guess kaboom.
Get ready to run.
Well, that's one way to clear the road.
Yeah. But yeah, he's been in the game a while, but it's just to really, say, he fits, I think, whereas the Frostclaw doesn't. Even the Plague Spitter kind of fits a little bit. You can kind of do some mental gymnastics there and understand it. But then, there is some other new enemies as well, actually. So, I think it's Charged, are they called? Yeah. So, let's look at Zombie Lab Worker here. So this is the charged version. Now, charged zombies, they do a lot more damage than any other zombie type. They're the fastest type of zombie. They've got the second highest amount of HP. They're resistant to electrical attacks like stun batons and electrical fences. So they shake those off a lot easier than other types of zombies. So, yeah, I mean, she'll probably wreck us if we let her loose. But should we let her loose for a second?
Yes.
Let's look how fast she is. She's not super fast, but... Yeah, for a run... Oh, no, there she goes. She just had a burst of speed. I'll turn her off. There we go. So that one, and then the last type of zombie that they've brought in is, I think, Inferno it's called? Infernal, sorry. So we look at... I don't know, Zombie White. So these glow orange. So these type of zombies, they have the highest amount of health, so they're really tanky. They don't do as much player damage as the charged zombies, but they do significant block damage. So one of these zombies could just a few of these zombies could really wreck your base. You'd want to prioritize these on a Horde Night, for example. So it just adds a few tiers. Because, I mean, I can kind of show you, really.
I definitely like the last two ones. They really are fitting for the world.
Yeah. And here's... So you can see various types of the same zombie here. Yeah. So green... Actually, so top right here, he's just a standard feral white. Your bog standard out in the world. Then you've got this one here who's radiated. Radiated's just a bit tankier, a bit tougher. And they regen the hit points. And then you go to the charge and inferno ones, which we just talked about. So it kind of scales up. It's a good way to get more enemies in the game without getting more enemies in the game, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Let's say goodbye to these guys.
I think you never really need a lot of variety on enemies. Just get a little bit creative, give us a few different flavors, and we are happy. Exactly.
And I think, other than a new DLC they just dropped, which is just an aesthetic thing, which I'm not going to bother with myself, but it's just there's a few armor sets that look a certain way.
I wanted to mention that they dropped basically out of the blue some DLCs.
Yeah, I mean, I think we knew it was coming for a while, but it's yeah, I don't know. A DLC is not. I don't like microtransaction in gaming. I really don't. But if it's just aesthetic and it's not pay to win, then I guess I can live with it. And I understand there's an audience out there for that type of thing, but not for me.
Absolutely, I'm also fine with it, but it feels strange when you on the other side have modding already.
Yeah, which I think that's a good point. Is there going to be conflict there if people release unique modded arm sets? Is that going to be something that they stop? Are they going to stop those players, those modders from doing that? I don't know. It's an interesting point, actually.
Yeah, and what else did they announce? They dropped so many things just on us, like the DLCs. The version was released 2 days in advance. Is there anything else they just dropped on us? Hidden, maybe?
There's a roadmap somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Some sort of roadmap. Roadmap. 7 days. They're supposed to be bringing bandits in the game, but it's a bit of a meme at this point because they've been saying that for years now. Bandits next update, and then it gets pushed back. So yeah, I know bandits are a thing that they want to do. They want to overhaul the UI. I know. Let me just see here. Here we go. Yeah, I found it. So Storms Brewing is now. That was supposed to be Q4 2024. Obviously a little bit late. Then they're bringing in Bandits, a new UI overhaul, an event system, which I'm not sure what that is, and a new quest type, this says here. And then after that, which should be, it says Q4 2025, but I imagine that'll be more like Q2 2026. Trader overhaul, story mode, Steam Workshop support, and new quest type again. So they're that's the mapped out vision currently.
You mentioned it now again. Now I have to ask, do you think we will ever get a story?
Yes, I do, because it's on the roadmap and it's part of their Kickstarter campaign, I think. So that means they have to, kind of legally, unless they want to, potentially get sued by Kickstarters, I think. So yeah, I think they will deliver some sort of story, but I can take a leave at it. The appeal of this game to me was always that you can do whatever you want. It's a sandbox. So story mode's not something for me, but a lot of people do really want it. So I'll probably play it once and then leave it at that. I can imagine,
I also on board with you there. I don't need a story, but what I always find missing in most survival games is a kind of NPC faction where you can maybe trade, where you can maybe do certain events or quests together, raid, for example, a different faction. Make the world a little bit alive more.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see the appeal. I think, bandits will help with that as well, because that'll be a different type of raid on your base. So it won't be like, what I imagine it to be. Obviously, I don't know, but the way you have the day 7 horde every 7 days in this version, I imagine it'll be, random attacks on your base from, human bandits. That's all I can imagine it is. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that kind of mechanic, or the enemy AI in general, which isn't zombies or creatures, I see on many different survival games, but it's always enemies. And I would like a combination. Not an allied attack, but maybe an ally is requesting help because he's getting attacked. You could mix this a little bit up.
Was it Fallout or New Vegas? Fallout 4 or 3 or New Vegas, where there was 2 factions and you had to pick which one you work for?
I think it was 3 or maybe even 4. I think it's a core ingredient in those games.
So yeah, I mean, and that was really well done, because you could decide, do you want to be good, evil, do you want to work for these guys, the other guys, or do you want to be a bit of a nomad, do you want to go between them? And the dialogue of the NPCs out in the world would change dependent on what you chose to do. So I thought that was really, really cool. So yeah, something like that, because it makes it a lot more alive than just having enemies attack you all the time. I agree. It'd be, it would make the world feel more alive, wouldn't it?
Of course, if they also include, again, this amazing customization in those features, you can decide what you want to play.
Exactly, yeah. And being given options, and ultimately they market this as a sandbox game. So giving the player options to turn things on and off, like they have, with the storms and the biome progression. If they do that for, how often you want bandit raids, how you want your game to play, basically. A game that does that really well is Project Zomboid. So if you look at the sandbox settings in that game, it's mind-blowing how much they let you control. So yeah, I think the more options, the better.
And in general, you would say you are quite happy with the recent release?
I mean, it's not what I would have chosen, the direction of the game, because when I first got into the game, I liked the survival sandbox, zombie survival sandbox elements of it. That's really what drew me in, and that's what I wish they expanded upon over the years. But I still really enjoy it. It's still, right up there with my favorite games, and I think it's still really, really enjoyable, really well done. And the fact that they have gone in so many different directions has been good for me as a content creator. So, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
And speaking about that, how is the content front going?
Yeah, well, currently it's the views are up a little bit because there's a new update, and so people are consuming every bit of content they can find on 2.0, so that's good. It's always good as a content creator when there's something out there that people are engaging with. So currently it's going okay. But then, I'm realistic. I know it'll drop off again when the update's old news. But then we just look forward to the next update, I suppose, and the cycle continues. How about you? How's things going for you, content-wise?
Many projects, but a lot of them are a little bit on the slow burn mode currently, because I have a new big, huge side project in the making. I get a new daughter in August.
Oh, wow. Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. And yeah, it's already a little bit of preparations and getting the stuff we need for the new baby. Yeah, it's different stress. But of course, I'm still want to grow the channel. I still want to do events, but rare. They are getting more rare, I would say. And a real big thing for me is now I really want to finish before the child is coming. The website, I also want to include now a wiki, which serves more or less the purpose of archiving gaming history.
Yeah.
So
that's a good idea.
I guess we talked last time. I think a lot of information is dying already, and we have to active work against that. So I want to create for mods. Let's talk about that subject. I want to have a place on the wiki for mods where you basically can say, hey, I'm a Left 4 Dead. I'm a 7 Days to Die player. I have all the mods, or I have those mods. And if anyone can't find the map or the mod or the skin online anywhere, contact me and I can send it to you. And I want to have different players, different modders, different content creators to basically offer their content or their library to the internet if it's ever getting down. Just a kind of backup for the communities.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great thing because a lot of internet history has been lost because of dead links and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think
absolutely.
People like you are fighting the good fight.
And I, of course, already have a big NAS, network storage device, basically. I will save everything on the wiki myself, but the big problem always is, what if I'm getting on the street and the bus just kills me? Then nobody can reach me. But if on the wiki there are the contact informations for other users who also have the information for that game or for all games or whatever, it's harder to kill the information. Same goes if you just drop everything on mod database or drop everything on Google Drive. Nobody can guarantee us that those platforms will survive. But communities in general, they have a good chance to survive. After 25 years, still the original communities from the Star Trek franchise, Star Wars franchise, they're still alive and kicking. They even mod their games still after so many years.
Yeah, which is always amazing to see, isn't it? When people are still developing mods and there's still an active community for games that are, not being developed for a long time. So I always makes me smile to see that, to be honest.
Yeah, and on the same side, it makes me sad that we can't do it for many modern games. It's so rare, like in 7 Days to Die, that we have the ability to mod, to customize, to have our own servers. It's amazing what they guys offer you and us players in general.
Yeah, no, that's something that's really nice. And yeah, they're bringing in the Steam Workshop stuff as well, the support, so that'll make it even more accessible for modding and stuff like that. And again, the other big gamer players, Project Zomboid, and that's probably got an even more active modding community. It's unbelievable, the amount of mods that are available in that game. It's overwhelming almost. You don't even know where to get started because absolutely every type of mod's already been thought of and conceived for that game. There's another one that came out, I think, in the same year as this game, 2013, and it's just been slowly developed over time. And I think Build 41 back in 2022, I want to say, or maybe even 2021, that hit, and that was the update that really made it catch fires. And it was, 8-9 years after it first came out, and it really blew up. So yeah, it's that was cool to see. But yeah, that game's got absolutely huge modding support from the developers, and even the developers will take some of the best modders' ideas and quality of life things, and they'll implement it into the next update as a kind of vanilla feature. So yeah, got a lot of time for Project Zomboid. It's a great game.
How hard is it to get in? For some reason, I'm scared to get in because it looks complex, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm mistaken.
It's the most difficult game I've ever learned. I'm not going to lie. It took me 40 hours of gameplay before I could even begin to survive for like a week in game. So it's I don't pick things up quickly naturally anyway. So it's probably just more me having to. That's the way I have to learn. But it was so good, the game. I saw it. I was watching content on it, and I just thought I have to get good at this because I really want to experience it. I just absolutely fell in love with it, but it just took a lot of getting used to. So it is a bit of a time sink to get good. But they do have so many sandbox settings that make it easier, which is the way I learned. Is you can change it so zombies are weaker, slower, less of them. You can change their behaviors. You can change it so infection doesn't exist, and the only way they can kill you is by giving you critical injuries. You can change so much in that game. The control they give you is unbelievable. So it's a true sandbox game, that I'd say.
That sounds amazing. I watched already so much small content. I never watched a whole series or anything, but bits of it. It looks interesting, but yeah, like I said, it looks also hard to get in.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's one thing I wouldn't ever lie and try and tell somebody it's oh no, you'll pick it up. It's it's very much, it takes some getting used to.
And here on 7 Days to Die, I recently noticed how close the developers are to the community in the sense of publishing or featuring their latest content for Valentine, for Halloween, also for the release of 2.0. They also got in touch with many content creators. I really like that.
Yeah, they've got a creator program over there, which I've not chosen to apply for, to be honest, because, I think a third party kind of runs it, and you link your YouTube account, and I'm always wary about stuff like that. So, I can wait. I don't have to participate in a stream weekend. I'm happy to wait until the Monday to start playing it without kind of feeling kind of obligated in a way, and that way as well, I feel like I have more freedom in being able to provide my honest opinion about things without feeling obligated to say something's great when I don't think it is great. But to your point, it is good that they have that relationship with content creators and streamers and the fan base in general. So, and they have a forum on their website, which many developers wouldn't have, and the fact they have them there, and people use it to complain a lot, and they just must get so much, I don't know, negativity there, and the fact that they kept those forums open and still allow people to go there and vent their frustrations, which is what it is. Usually it's just the hardcore players venting frustrations. That's what the majority of posts seem to be over there. The fact that they give people an outlet is, that says something, I think.
Absolutely. Having a forum is, for me, important because they also archive history and information. It's important. I don't get why so many companies think this is a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's more. I don't think people think it's a bad thing as much as they don't think about it at all when it comes to the internet, because it's not. They don't see it the same way as books and television, and film and photography. All those kind of art forms and mediums. All those things are archived, and rightly so. And I think that they almost don't. They look down upon the internet and they don't see it as a worthy thing to archive and keep in the kind of history books. That's my take on it. But I think that'll change, and just hope it's not too late before they really catch on and realize this stuff does need archiving.
Also, not only archiving, but having your content searchable. If you go to Twitter or now X and search, it's a pain in the ass. Also, the same goes for all the other social media sites. Instagram, TikTok, those are not search platforms. And so many game developers just dump their content there and hope that the algorithm is pushing it.
This is true. And what do we know about the algorithm? It's the algorithm is really just the audience. It's the truth of the matter. If you if you make content that people want to watch, people will watch it. Is the truth of algorithm. I think algorithm's a bit of a myth sometimes. I think with people watching, I think the algorithm's more geared towards the audience rather than the creator. Where some people see it as almost like an excuse as to why they're not doing so well in content. Whereas if your content's good enough, it'll find the right audience. Whereas all the algorithm is really, it's if I go and watch, I don't know, a Minecraft video, and I watch the whole thing and engage with it, they'll go, okay, well, this guy likes Minecraft. Let's show him more of the same type of things. That's all the algorithm is. Just
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not dissing on him. He's a nice guy, Mr. Algorithm. But
algorithm, yeah.
But in general, I just mean, for example, if we take Instagram here, you put in your hashtags, the stuff you want to search, and you only see 20 to 30 pictures and not more, because this is the only thing the search engine will show you and not more. And if you are not lucky enough to get in that, you can't even scroll past a certain point. Same goes for YouTube in a different way. You know a video is existing. You know the title of the video, but you don't find it. And that's the frustrating thing with this algorithm.
Yeah, I think I guess what they're saying is, well, this is the most popular thing, and so we think this is what you want to see.
And so everything else is not important. I know. It's hard if you just want more or different stuff, and you basically have to swallow what he is feeding you.
Are you proud of me, by the way, as well? I managed to stand still for the majority of this chat.
Yeah. I thought the same. Maybe we move to our nice little guy here, Fred, the cameraman.
Fred, the cameraman. Yeah, I just remember on our last one when I watched it back, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm moving about so much." But it's like a fidgety thing. I can't help it. I'm always like everything I do in life.
Which we could use for the next question to you. What did you improve or try in the last few months?
What did I improve or try? I'm always you always have to tinker and try different things, don't you, with YouTube? And it's things like the way I format my titles, for example. That's something I've changed recently. So whereas previously it'd be I don't know, a brief episode thing like Great Trader Find or something, and then it'd be 7 Days to Die 1.0, and that it just wasn't it wasn't standing out. And then I noticed some other people were doing things like, I did this in the new 7 Days to Die update, and it's more of a sentence or like a headline in the newspaper rather than a kind of formatted index of an episodic run of something. So things like that, you're trying to make an individual video stand out more rather than getting lost in the shuffle of a series. So that's the little kind of thing I've been trying recently, and also cutting less in my edits. I've tried letting the videos flow a bit more and being less cutty, whereas I used to kind of cut up montages of popping zombie heads with a sledgehammer, like boom, 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 and it's probably a bit over edited and maybe a bit off-putting. So I've tried to scale back that and try and find a happy medium somewhere. There's a couple of things I've tried in the last few months.
It's so hard. It's so hard not to edit something. Every time I edit audio, for example, I want to cut out dead spaces, stuff like I did now, amps, mistakes, if you repeat a word too many times, I cut it out. But in general, I shouldn't. It's natural. But
Yeah.
the
No,
over
it's true.
editing is always kicking in.
Everyone does that thing with a word, though. Like, you'll say the word, I don't know, perfect, and then you'll notice you say the word perfect 8 times in 1 minute, and you're like, well, why am I doing that? It's like, but I think everybody does it, but just you don't realize it until you edit in yourself.
And did you ever try to use the friendly neighborhood Skynet AI for content creation?
Absolutely not. No, I see. I'm a bit old school when it comes to stuff like that. I know AI is the future, and it's just going to be, the next generation are just going to see it as a very normal thing, just like kind of like how our generation is used to Photoshop, right? But if you go to the generation before ours, they were all thought, oh no, that's just taking jobs away from photographers. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. But I'm now in the old generation being like, oh, I don't like that AI. But I don't, because I think, I won't say the name of the content creator, but there's a content creator who does various games, including 7 Days to Die, and he'll do, all sorts of survival games, and he'll do AI thumbnails. So whereas before you could glance at his content and say, oh yeah, that's a 7 Days to Die video, that's the one I'm interested in, I'll watch that. Now, because all his thumbnails are AI generated, they all look exactly the same, and they're just kind of mushed into one kind of, I don't know, just one thing, and nothing stands out anymore. And I'm not even somebody who will have a smart speaker. I don't have, that device, which name I won't say because I don't want to trigger people's devices. Where you say the name of the speaker and it does things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't even have one of them because I don't like, even though I've got, my life's boring, and any conversation I have in my home is very boring, but I just don't like the principle of something listening to you all the time. And so when I like to listen to the radio when I wash up, for example, but, whereas most people, if they want to play a radio station like these days, they tell a smart speaker to do it, don't they? I won't even have that. So I embrace technology in some ways, but in other ways, I'm kind of, I pick and choose, really. I'm a bit of a hypocrite. How about you? Where do you stand on the whole AI thing?
I use it for certain things, but also I wouldn't use it for my Amazon shopping or to turn on the radio.
Yeah.
But especially for audio, I love it. I use DaVinci Resolve for my video editing, and they introduced a lot of new AI audio features. And yeah, having a background removal, having AI audio mixer, or you have a certain song which isn't the right length, you can say to AI, hey, make me variation of this song in for exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's nice. It really helps, but I also hate the thumbnails. It's not creative.
Yeah, and it's not representative of what the video usually is either at all. It's usually just so far removed from what.
It already turns me off when I see it.
Yeah.
It serves the purpose of being fast and nice and easy for the community, but in reality, I guess most people are turned off by it. So you exactly achieve the opposite.
Yeah, and I think that will change over time as well. I think you will start seeing the
when
younger
Skynet
generation
is getting better. I experiment all the time with it. Also for the thumbnail, I always have a raccoon as my avatar and everything, and I tried to make a raccoon holding a coffee cup in the same pose as a character from Star Trek Online holding a teacup. Same clothes and everything, and he messed it up all the time. So it's really not there, but in 5 to 10 years, maybe we have it.
Like even things like auto-generated subtitles, that's AI. There's different levels of it, isn't there? And I think the bit that I don't like is where it's trying to people are trying to pass off AI as artistic creativity, and it's not. It's not at all. It's them putting a prompt into something and reaping the rewards. AI to do something to make, like you said, enhancing audio, generating subtitles, things like that. I'm all for that. That's just common sense. And that's something that's been going on for years anyway. That's not a new thing. It comes under the umbrella AI these days. But yeah, I think when it comes to artistic stuff, making music, making thumbnails, writing scripts, stuff like that, I absolutely am not in favor of AI when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. If you consider writing a boring manual yourself or having an AI helping you, what would you choose?
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather collaborate with a human. That's what I'd rather do.
Yeah, if you have the resources to do that, definitely. But if the boss is telling you have to write a manual for your dishwasher in the next 10 minutes, or let's give you a little bit more time, 2 days, it's hard. Of course, you will be tempted to use Skynet.
Oh, what you might do though is you might say, can you lay out some bullet points of the type of thing that should be in a standard instruction manual, and then you fill in the blanks between that, which, I think that's probably a happy medium. You can use it for formatting and layout, and then you can actually do the creative work yourself in between, maybe.
Absolutely. It's an extension. I also don't think AI shouldn't do everything for us.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because at some point we're going to just lose so much brain function because we're not using our brains anymore,
Yeah, I also fear that there will be a huge decline of skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just memory function, things like how often would, back in, I don't know, the 90s or whatever, you'd say, oh, what was the name of that actor from My Name is Earl, for example?
Yeah.
And you'd go, oh yeah, what was his name? And then, an hour later, you'd phone your friend and go, oh, it was Jason Lee. I remembered, because you remembered it yourself. But now all you do is go straight to Google, don't you? Straight to Wikipedia, look it up. And you're not thinking. You just, it's there as a crutch all the time.
Yeah, I never considered that. I experienced it myself. I was in Dublin for a weekend just a while ago, and a friend
Nice.
always put out his phone and asked ChatGPT basically, hey, what is this building? Can you tell me a story about it or the history about it?
Yeah, it's like a crutch for your brain, isn't it? For a lot of people, like an extension of themselves almost. It's a bit worrying. But there we go. Did you have a Guinness over in Dublin?
Yeah, we were in the factory.
Nice. It's true what they say, isn't it? The Guinness is actually nicer over there.
I didn't drink it. I'm a non-alcoholic.
Oh, really? Well,
never touch anything besides coffee.
Oh, I'm the same as you now. I used to drink, but I haven't had a drink in a couple of years now. I've just completely stopped. Just don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, back when I did used to drink, I did used to like Guinness, and it was better in Ireland.
But yeah, the more alcoholic friends of mine who celebrate the bachelor party in the right way, they enjoyed the Guinness a lot.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Let me just quickly check it. I think, yeah, no, I'm just making sure there's nothing I missed off the old list there. I don't think. I think I've covered off everything, all things 7 Days to Die, here on the Zedfish show. Oh, Joe, I could have done. I could have put a little microphone down here for you. I think there's a microphone.
It's perfect. I'm so humbled by you creating this for our breakfast show. Hopefully, we can use it in the future, so save it. I definitely want to have you back on the channel.
There we go, look. Little microphones. Yeah, creative building. This is one of the... This is an example of when it's a sandbox. You can turn on creative mode and just build for fun,
Absolutely. It's basically what we did in our spare time as children, but now we can do it as adults even. It's a win-win.
Exactly. And the big appeal for me in this game is always I've got a dev gun here, which is it'll one-shot any block.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you can destroy any block in the game, and just, look at this, and I'm suddenly building a bunker. Just crazy, isn't it? Like the fact that this is mind blowing to me still that we can do this in the game, and it's just so, I don't know. And the fact you can build something and look at it and say, I created that, but it's just you couldn't do that in games, when I was growing up. That's all, and it's just let you be so creative and express yourself. That's the big appeal of this game to me, and always will be, I think.
And compared to other survival games, what I really like is that you can preserve it. That it's not gone when a server is shutting down. It's not entirely yours. Of course, they can still decide they break your save game by the next patch. But at least it's possible.
Exactly, and look at that. Like I never made a mess.
Just buried a dead body. I wondered, we didn't talk about that last time. How do you archive your personal stuff? Not personal, but your videos for YouTube and content creation. How do you do that?
So when I started, I bought a couple of SSDs, and I was keeping everything on. No, to tell a lie, I bought SSDs for storage for recording, and then I bought a big external hard drive to keep all my videos on. And then at some point I stopped doing that and started deleting them. And I've just recently, funnily enough, started archiving them again, because I thought, what happens when I'm 90 years old and I want to reminisce about my days of doing this? And it'd be nice to have them there. So I've started doing it again now for that reason. But just to answer your question, is hard drives, one hard drive, and then I've recently just bought a couple of SSDs to start putting stuff on as well.
Yeah, it's a strange thing to think even about archiving your own stuff, because most content creators in the beginning think, hey, it's on YouTube, it will stay the same. But at some point I realized, at least, YouTube is converting your videos, so it's not even the same quality when you first uploaded it, but it could also change years down the line because they want to compress old footage which isn't used that much anymore, and it will degrade even more the quality. So
they've talked about in the past, haven't they? They've talked about deleting old videos that aren't getting views, and I think they had a big backlash, so they didn't actually do it.
Yeah,
but this was probably 8-9 years ago they were talking about that, because of it must be difficult to maintain and run.
It's
the servers. I mean, I'm pretty sure YouTube's pretty much always. It used to always run at a loss. I don't know if it still does, but probably not anymore. But it used to be decidedly unprofitable, because it's just all the storage costs and stuff like that, and the maintenance and whatever, upkeep. But yeah, I mean, it'll go one day. Or they'll decide, anything over 10 years old that hasn't had a view, it's getting deleted. And so it's not going to be a reliable way of just storing stuff anymore. So it's, if people do want to keep a hold of stuff, they probably do want to physically back it up as well.
Never a bad decision. But yeah, my stance, and everybody on this channel know my stance about archiving.
Yeah.
Since it's getting already a little bit dark here, I also want to move the topic away a little bit from 7 Days to Die and archiving, more in the direction of what did you play or watch the last few months? Anything you tried maybe for the first time?
Let me think. What have I been playing and watching? So, yeah, I mean, in terms of watching, me and my partner, we'll watch TV together. We watch a show called Taskmaster. She actually introduced me to Taskmaster years ago, it's actually I think it's worldwide these days, but it started off as a UK-based comedy panel show. And so we watch. That's one of our favorite things to watch. But then we'll just watch whatever kind of sitcom on catch up and streaming services. So kind of non-specific there. In terms of playing, it's just been 7 Days to Die, Project Zomboid, and Football Manager. I'm afraid same answer as last time.
Well, nothing wrong with that. It's totally fine if you have a passion.
I'm a creature of habit. I mean, but there's like everything's in life. Like I'm a football fan as well as so. I recently took a trip out to look at Everton's stadium, for example, and yeah, so done some other things as well. But in terms of gaming, I like what I like. I'm afraid it's because I think this game set such high standards for other games for me. It's kind of almost ruined pick up and play games. I kind of demand something deep and meaningful now as a gaming experience because of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you there. I don't pick one game, but I demand basically my old features in gaming. For example, direct IP support, LAN modes, mod support. Those features I need. I'm pissed if I don't have an in-game browser.
Oh, hi, Mike. Hey, Mike Peters in chat there. He's a
I
regular viewer of
wanted
mine.
to say hi to him, yeah.
How you doing, Mike? You went to get
He's
Iron Maiden?
a follower from you or a friend from you?
Yeah, Mike is an amazing person, actually. I want to give him a big shout out because he has probably commented on every single one of my videos, right? If you look at my channel, I've got like, I don't know, 1,800 videos. There's been something crazy like that on there. And this guy, he found me after I started a couple of months in, and he's just been there all the way through. There's people who come in, drop out. There's people who've been there years. But Mike has been such a big supporter, and yeah, eternally grateful. And what a guy, honestly, what a guy.
Nice if you have such good followers.
Oh yeah, it's just amazing.
No, we don't call you a stalker. You're just an amazing fan.
Just
a good person.
Top person. Yeah, great person. People like Mike make the early days of content creation when you're new. They make it worth coming back to because you know somebody out there. It means something to somebody. So if it isn't for people like Mike, people when they're starting out in content creation, it can be disheartening. It can be you're getting 5 views per video if you're lucky. So just to get that one comment saying, "Oh yeah, enjoyed this, keep it up," it can mean the world to people. So yeah, I'm always grateful to Mike for what he's done for me.
I wonder, do you ever host community nights where you play with your friends and community?
I've tried it, I dabbled in it a while ago. So I started doing Twitch streams, ran a Discord server, all that sort of stuff. But I had to stop it really, just because I found between real life and stuff, I just couldn't give it the time it deserved. And but I got to the point where streaming became. I was going into streaming tired. I was trying to keep a schedule for it, as well as doing videos, as well as having a life, a private life, and all that sort of stuff. And so we did some community streams and stuff, but I just couldn't commit to it. If one day I'm lucky enough to be doing less hours in work or something like that, maybe I can revisit it because I do like the idea.
It's hard. It's really hard spending time between your family, your work, your YouTube channel, and streaming. I totally get you there, but it's just an amazing experience.
So I wanted to ask you about something as well. So these games that you like, sort of like the Star Trek games and stuff. So are they multiplayer online? And what sort of games are they? Are they kind of sandbox where you can kind of do what you want and play online with friends, or are they very much story driven?
I love everything more or less, except sport games. I will never touch those games. But I play single player games, I play sandbox games. But in general, I love casual. Casual today is a bad word, but I mean with casual, relaxed gameplay, relaxed multiplayer gameplay where you have an AI to fight, survive in an environment like 7 Days to Die. That's for me casual gameplay. And yeah.
Well, see, because I had an idea, didn't I? Do you remember that? Mike, tell me what you think about this in chat there, if you're still there. So I had an idea where, because Captain here, he's quite limited in experience, shall we say, in 7 days. He's he knows a fair bit about it now, but he hasn't got many hours into the game. And so I had an idea of where I could maybe do like a week's series, like just 7 episodes or something, or up to day 7, where I see if I can get us both to survive on the hardest difficulty, which is insane difficulty and nightmare speed, and we'd probably do like a catchy title like "Can me and a new player survive on max settings" or something like that. So if we, I thought that would be a fun thing, but also if you could return a favor and then try and see if you can carry me to survival in one of your games. So I thought it could be a fun little experiment.
I would love that idea. Yeah, I would love that idea. Carry the virgin. Perfect.
So yeah, have you got an idea of a game that you could do that on?
Let me think. We can definitely try another survival game, something like the original DayZ.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I've never played it, so it's perfect. So yeah, that would actually be perfect. So yeah, we should definitely try and get the time to do that. I know it'll be hard for you with, you've got a lot on in life, but we'll try and make
the planning in the future will be a little bit wanky, but it will be doable. Definitely want to grow here. And
I'm 7 days not to die, like Mike says saying in the chat.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So the title would be "Don't Sacrifice the Virgin." The next 7 days, at least the next 7 days.
Yeah, or the bodyguard, where we've got to keep. You've got to keep me alive in that one. I've got to keep you alive in this one. Whatever. But yeah, I think it could be interesting. But I've got to make sure I can still survive. I haven't played max settings for a long time, so I'd need to sharpen my skills myself there.
Yeah, definitely would like teaching. One feature oh, damn it, it's not recently. In my mind, it's recently, but I learned a few, is it already years? A while ago, in the game Team Fortress 2, very old title now, they have a feature called, brain lag, coach gaming, where basically you can offer your service as a coach for the community, and a noob can request you and you teach him the game. I think this is especially in complex games like survival games or like 7 Days to Die. It's amazing. It would be amazing to have such an in-game feature.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, no, I agreed. It's just what? So you're saying like just experienced members of the community offering their services up to teach? Yeah, that's a very good idea. I think that's why tutorial YouTube does so well. So anytime you put up a video, which is like, this is how this works in the game, and if it's anything remotely complex, then chances are that video will go massive because everyone's searching for it. A prime example is, I think my two biggest videos are farming guide and guide to vehicles in 7 days, and it's because new players are searching for that because they want to know how it works. And so I can understand how a real life version of that, which you can actually interact with, would be very appealing, I think.
Yeah, especially if you do that as a live stream where the audience also shouts in some questions. Hey, how can I achieve that? Or how can I get the fastest car? Definitely. Interesting. Yeah, we will follow up here.
Agreed. I think that's a fantastic idea, and the audience agree. Looking at them over. They're all dressed the same. Oh yeah, Mike, what do you think of our little set here?
Give him a quick tour. I think he did an amazing job for a breakfast show.
We even got a cameraman and everything. Yeah, community help is appreciated, Mike. I agree.
I think a lot of YouTubers or streamers, it's of course not bad to not include the community, but I think some of them really miss out a lot if they don't do it. If they don't have in any way an interaction with the community, it's bad.
Yeah. The community is always just a good thing, full stop, isn't it? And shared knowledge and stuff. I'm starting to move again. I need to take my hand off my mouse. So shared knowledge and stuff is, And that again comes back to...
Of course, the motivation boost you get as a content creator.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree.
But yeah, I also covered everything from my list except to one little point here. Do we have any questions? Maybe Mike, you want to give us a final question?
It could be about 7 days, content creation. It can be about
Tech,
our thoughts
gaming.
on 2.0. It could be about what the captain's favorite, how the captain takes his coffee.
How to sacrifice a virgin in a game like me.
The final question. Big pressure, Mike.
Yeah. What do you prefer, Skynet or Alexa?
And sorry if we just made your smart speaker speak to you.
No, we would never do that. We would never order 10 dildos now.
I've got so many bad thoughts running through my head about things I could say, like, hey Siri, text blah blah. I'm not going to do it. I've got a question for you, Captain.
Just a
What
second.
makes you keep
Go ahead.
What makes you keep coming back to content creation?
Especially the content I'm doing, I would say meeting new players and hearing their unique stories. In May, basically, there was, of course, a big Star Wars month where a lot of gamers returned to Star Wars games, and I interviewed some of those. And it's always nice to meet those guys, those passionate players who archive the games, who develop new games. It's amazing. That brings me back and wants me to do more and more and more.
Nice.
And we have a final question, I would say. What was your motivation to start videos? You start with that question.
So my motivation was, I can tell you how I fell into it. So I found this game via Neebs Gaming because I used to play GTA and I was looking for GTA compilations on YouTube. I found the Neebs Gaming one, thought they were really funny, clicked on their channel, saw they did other games. 7 Days to Die was one of them. Clicked on that playlist, watched it, thought this is the best thing I've ever seen. I really want to play it. I didn't even have a PC at the time, so I bought it on PS4, which was like a lesser version of it, but really enjoyed it still. And then I was just watching every bit of content I could find on it on YouTube. And it got to the point where they kept updating PC. PS4 was not getting updated, so I had this thing where I was having a hobby of a game that I loved that I couldn't actually partake in, and I was living it through YouTube videos. So I just I got really into YouTube videos. Then I became fascinated with how YouTube work, why people do the things they do, and just became really interested in the mechanics of that. So then I got my first gaming PC in like January 2020 or something. And then within a few months, I'd started a YouTube channel too soon. I wasn't good enough at the game yet because I was still getting used to PC. But because it became almost hand in hand with my fascination with the game, became YouTube with it because that's how I was keeping up to date with the game. And so it just seemed natural to me to try it myself. And then that's how I got into the YouTube sphere, if you will. How about you, Captain?
I wanted money. No, I wanted to have more clan members. Original, I created from our LAN parties and multiplayer sessions in the clan. Multiplayer compilations, trailers. For a while, I had every month a single player and a multiplayer game of the month, basically, where we spend all the time and a lot of funny things happened. And then I thought, after watching a really, really bad review of one of my favorite games, Star Trek Armada, and I thought, hey, he's doing such a terrible job. I have to do it better. And I started this format basically where I invite an expert, a noob, and myself, and we talk about the pros and cons of a game and review the whole thing.
Nice. What I like about what you do is that there's not many people doing this kind of interview format for YouTube. I really like it.
Thanks. It was definitely and it is stiff, and it definitely still is a work in progress. As you know, I'm not a native speaker. I had to get used to speaking all the time in English. I have to get used to hear my voice and everything. It's different.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I can't imagine doing it in something that isn't your first language to begin with. You know, that's amazing, really, that you're able to to do it.
Thanks.
I
It's training, just training.
Yeah, you must be exhausted sometimes after finishing.
Oh, it's okay. I'm so used to it. Going a little bit to my personal life, that's also how I met my wife. For students, there is a program called Tandem Language Exchange, where you meet for a coffee, and half an hour you speak in German, half an hour you speak in English, and so you learn different languages. And yeah, so you can even get a girlfriend, and now later wife.
Well, do you know? I know we're wrapping up here, but number one, thank you, Mike. That's very nice of you to say. And yes, I agree, his English is impeccable.
Thanks, guys.
The YouTube has a feature. I don't know if it's rolled out on all channels, but I've just had it unlocked where your videos get automatically audio dubbed in foreign languages.
Yeah,
So-
that was annoying. Not annoying that the feature exists, but when it was rolled out, they had a mistake where some videos were stuck in different languages and they couldn't turn it off.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, but I just I only discovered it the other day, and I was listening to myself. Well, not me, but obviously one of my videos with a German voiceover, and it was quite interesting.
Absolutely, it's so strange. I have to try it. I have to translate one of my videos back to German.
Let's see how much German I know. It's like, "Hallo, wie heißt du?"
Yeah, that's good. That's
Ich
perfect.
ich heiße. Oh, hang on. My name's 25, so it's Zwei Wumpf. Is that right?
Yeah, 2,5.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then wie alt bist du? I remember that. I remember a little bit of German.
Perfect. It's all you need at the beginning. If you meet somebody on the internet and then progress from there.
V Gates, is that another one?
Sorry, come again?
Is V Gates? Is that one?
V-Gates, yeah. V-Gate ist dir.
V Gates.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, I need to start picking that up again because I did quite enjoy German when I was learning it years and years ago.
Well, you're not always welcome. You're always, of course, welcome back on this
You're
channel,
never welcome.
but you're
please
also
never
welcome
speak German to me
to
again.
join me in Vienna. So if you ever make a trip to Austria, you're welcome to join here. We can do a live session here.
Yeah, what a beautiful place to live as well, Vienna. You must feel quite lucky sometimes.
Yeah, but currently it's annoying because it's so hot. We have today a break from the heat wave, but just a few days ago we had, I think, 34 degrees. And in Austria we had a new record, 38 degrees somewhere in Austria.
Wow, that's horrible. That's hideous.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I hate the heat. I really hate. I'm like a miserable Labrador in the heat. I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's funny. I like going to the spa, to the sauna and everything, but I hate summer heat all the time. For swimming, okay, but after that, shut it down. I want to go to my cave and play my games.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, it's horrible when it's like a heat wave and then you're in a little room with a PC blasting hot air into it. Yeah, it's not a nice thing, is it?
Also not helping that all those components getting hotter and hotter and hotter and need more power.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you've got like a little audio interface as well that runs hot, and yeah, it just by the end of the session you're just ready for it to be over.
Yep.
Which is a shame.
But yeah, I would say we wrap it up here. Thank you for joining me.
Cheers.
Hope we do this again in the future. And especially I hope you will carry the Virgin back to, the infidels or wherever you want to carry me.
I think this analogy is running away from us a bit.
Yeah, everybody, see you around, I would say. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thank you.